Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about or we are going to describe this particular chapter, the end of living and the beginning of survival, which is a speech by Chief Seattle. Now this speech actually comes in your book Zeitgeist, Readings on Society and Culture, and we have got 4 modules in this particular book. Which is the first module is on Indian Constitution and secularism, second on sustainable environment, third on gender, and fourth on human rights. Now this particular chapter, the speech that we are going to talk about is the first chapter of the second module, that is sustainable environment. Now before moving on to the speech as such, we'll just talk a bit on the speaker, that is Chief Seattle. Now, Chief Seattle was a Squamish and Duwamish chief. Probably you might be familiar with the city of Seattle in US, which is named after him. Whatever we know about Chief Seattle is actually based on conjectures, mostly based on conjectures, with a little bit of facts and a little bit of myths. But then the fact that he was a great orator was never disputed among others. But then where he was born, all these things are based on the conjectures that we have from different people. So it is said that he was born on Black River near what is now known as the city of Kent around 1786, and it is said that he lived up to the age of 88 or so, and he died in 1866. Now, about this great orator, he was a big man, a tall man, a big man. So that is why probably he was given the nickname Le Gros, or the big man, the big one, by the traders with the Hudson Bay Company. Of course, I guess his mother belonged to Duwamish tribe, and his father was a great leader of the Squamish tribe. That is the reason he became chief of both. What happens is the term which they used for the chief is Tyee, Tyee. And the fact that he was a Thai was never disputed amongst others. So how do we know him, Chief Seattle? Chief Seattle, we get to know him because he was a great warrior, a great leader, a great orator, and a diplomat as well. He had a very solid reputation as an intelligent and formidable and compelling leader with a very compelling voice as such, and of course his name also rests upon this particular speech that he has given during the heady days of 1970s. Now, he got himself baptized, himself and his children as well. They were baptized into Roman Catholics, and from then on he is known as a friend of whites as well. So he always wanted to strike a sort of a balance between whites and Native American tribes, and that's it. And he has always tried to do that. And this particular speech also talks about that sort of a balance that he wanted to create. Probably the kind of he wanted the white settlers to accommodate the Native American, Red Americans as well. Yeah, this particular speech was delivered on March 11th, 1854. And this is titled, of course, The End of Living and Beginning of Survival, which is a speech which Seattle had given in Lushootseed language, which is his Native American tribal language. And you do have different variations, different translations of. You have another variation of this particular text in your textbook itself. At the very end of it, you can go through that as well. So you have different sorts of variations by different translators as well. Probably different versions of the same speech. As I told you, you have different sorts of translations available. See, your text says that the first kind of translation of this particular speech came in Seattle Sunday Star, which was by Henry A. Smith, who is a poet and a doctor, and the second version of the translation appeared in the 1960s by William Arrowsmith. And the particular text that you have got to learn, the translation, this particular translation, this textbook is of course based on the translation by Ted Perry, who had actually translated it for the promotion of the environmental movie Home. So that is all about the translations, that is all about Chief Seattle. Yeah, I hope you got a very small idea about Chief Seattle. Now moving on to this particular essay, speech, the end of living and the beginning of survival. Now, what happens is, in this particular speech, probably Seattle is trying to put forward his idea regarding the world, the universe, that all things are connected, in the sense no man is an island unto itself, as John Donne somewhere in his sermons had said. No man is an island unto itself. Everything is connected. Everybody is connected. The reds, the blacks, the whites, the yellowish. Everybody is connected. We are connected to the environment, connected to the plants, to the animals, to the rivers, to everything in the universe. So nobody can exist alone. Everything is connected. And he is also probably to put forward that sort of an idea. He gives us the way in which the white people and the red people differ in the treatment of land. How the Native Americans treat their land is quite different from how the white people treat their land. Now, I'll just read this particular speech and I'll try to explain it to you. Okay. Yeah. Now, the occasion of this particular speech is that the President of Washington had actually sent him by saying that, had actually told him that we need your land, and are you ready to sell your land to us? And we of course are ready to give you a land for your people. We of course would provide land for your people, but then we need your land, probably for the establishment of industries, the establishment of sort of buildings. Probably they wanted to turn the natural land into a cultural one. So maybe that is the reason why the President of Washington had actually sent him the word that he wishes to buy their land. Now, this is actually a reply to that particular offer, or that particular word that the President of Washington had sent him. This is a very beautifully written and very kind of a motivating sort of a language. After reading this, you get to, you just really sit there and just think about what we are doing, what we are right now, what we are doing. And this particular speech becomes relevant in this era, in the sense that we do have lots and lots of environmental concerns raised. We do have this climate changes, and we do have lots and lots of things which are happening around in the environment because of our own treatment towards nature. And probably this sort of a speech is of course a reminder not only for a particular era, but for all eras which come even in future. Even nowadays we do see that climate change, lots of we cannot predict what is going to happen at the very next moment. Anything can happen, right? So let's actually move to this. So this particular essay becomes a very relevant speech as far as our contemporary climatic and weather and natural scenarios are taken into consideration. The calamities that occur, the flood, the droughts, the hurricanes, the climate changes, the melting of the mountains, everything, whatever things that happen is, of course, when you take this particular the speech, this speech of course points to each and everything that is happening around now. The reason probably is we have always considered ourselves as above, man as the center of the universe. We have always considered man as the center of the universe when we are not. Probably Chief Seattle wanted to tell us that we are not above nature. We are just a part of nature, just a very tiny part of nature. See, so we just need not think ourselves as somebody who is beyond nature, who can do anything in it. No, that is not the case. Instead, we're just part of nature. And ecology, there is this concept called ecocentrism. It is always ecology which is the center. It is always nature which is the center, not we human beings, right? So yeah, so let's move on to this particular speech. The president in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land. How can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land? The idea is quite strange to us. If you do not own the freshness of the air and the sparkle of the water, how can you buy them? Every part of this earth is sacred to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every clearing and humming insect is holy in the memory and experience of my people. The sap which courses through the trees carries the memories of the red man. The white man's dead forget the country of their birth when they go to walk among the stars. Our dead never forget this beautiful earth, for it is the mother of the red man. We are part of the earth and it is part of us. The perfumed flowers are our sisters, the deer, the horse, the great eagle, all these are our brothers. The rocky crest, the juices in the meadows, the body heat of the pony, and man all belong to the same family. Now, the speech begins by telling that the president of Washington had sent the word that he wishes to buy the land. Now, how can he? The concept is quite, this concept of buying and selling of land, water and air was quite unfamiliar to us, right? During the early days, during the ancient times, when we were settlers, the whole concept was nature was for everybody. Nature belongs to everybody. You can actually go and live anywhere that you like. The concept of selling of the land, how come nowadays, not nowadays, before also you have this concept of parting that land, right? Parting the land. This is my land and this is your land, and you build walls around your land so that nobody peeps in. See, the concept of selling the land, buying the land, the concept of selling the air, buying the air, the concept of selling water and buying water, that is quite strange as far as these Native American peoples are concerned. They just use their land for their purpose and that's it. They just want to drink water, they just want to wash themselves, they go to the river, they just want to eat something, they approach the trees, that they just want to eat something, they kill for the sake of, for the sake of living, right? So what happens is, this idea that selling and buying land, sky, everything is quite familiar, quite strange as far as Native Americans are concerned. He asks, how can you buy all these things? The freshness of the air, the sparkle of the water, each part of the earth. As far as now, this is the difference between the attitude that the Native American people have towards the land and the attitude that white American people have towards the land. See, for Native Americans, every part of the earth is sacred. Every pine needle, everything that you see, he's listing lots and lots of things. Everything that you see around comprises or are actually filled with, are actually loaded with the memories of the red man. Now, What about the white man? White man forget the country of their birth. They just walk on the stars, right? They forget the beautiful earth. They forget their mother. They forget their ancestors. They forget everything. For them, for white settlers, for the white people, white Americans, they are above everything. For Native Americans, they are actually part of the nature. That is the difference. Now, for us, the perfumed flowers, everything, the deer, the horse, the great eagle, each and every animal and plant that they see around the rivers, everything they're considering as kith and kin. They're considering as their own, their brother, their sister, their mother, their father, right? So everybody's, it's almost for Native American, everything is a family. The whole nature is a family. Everyone belong to this particular family, right? So when a great chief in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land, he asks much of us. The great chief sends word he will reserve us a place so that we can live comfortably to ourselves. He will be our father and we will be his children. So of course we will consider your offer to buy our land. It will not be easy, for this land is sacred to us. This shining water that moves in the streams and rivers is not just water, but the blood of our ancestors. If we sell you the land, you must remember that it is sacred, and you must teach your children that it is sacred, and that each ghostly reflection is in the clear water of the lakes tells of events and memories in the life of my people. The water's murmur is the voice of my father's father. Now this is the difference that you see in the Native American tribes and the white Americans. See, of course we are ready to to sell you our land. Of course we are ready. Because you wanted to buy our land, we are ready to sell. But there are conditions. There are enough conditions for us to sell this land. See, in a sense, if you want our land, we do have lots and lots of conditions which you will have to obey. Then only we are ready to sell you our land, because this is not just a land for us, just something to trade, right? Just something to buy and sell and you just go. No, that is not what it is for us. So what happens is, if we consider your offer, if you consider your offer, and if we are ready to sell our land, the selling part and the buying part will not be easy as you think. You just give some money, you just give us another land, that won't do. That won't do, because this land is God for us. It is sacred for us. Everything, the shining water, the streams, the rivers, all those are blood of our ancestors. It's not just water. It's like for you probably it's just water. For us it is not water. For us it is the blood of our ancestors. And if we sell our land, you should remember to teach your children. You should remember to teach your children that each and every tiny thing in this nature belong to our ancestors. Each and every ghostly reflection in the clear water tells us, or it carries the memories. It carries the memories of the events in the life of my people, that is Native American people. The water's murmur in the river is the voice of my father. You just teach them. You just teach your children that this land is very sacred to us. So if you are ready to do that, we are ready to give you our land. The rivers are our brothers. That is what you should teach your children. They quench our thirst. The rivers carry our canoes and feed our children. Now these are the things that the rivers do for us. If we sell you our land, you must remember and teach your children that the rivers are our brothers and your brothers as well. And you must henceforth give the rivers the kindness you would give any brother. If you're going to kill your brother, if you're going to dumb ways on your brother, you do that. You white people, you do that, but you should not do this to our land, because we treat rivers as our brothers, because it carries the blood of our ancestors. We know that the white man do not understand our ways. We know that. See, sometimes what happens is you talk to people whom you know that they won't understand, right? They won't understand. So he actually understand. He actually says that I know that you guys are not going to understand our ways. So, but then I'm telling you. But then also I'm telling you, one portion of land is same to him as the next. For you, one portion, it's just for trade. Land is just for trade. For he is a stranger who comes in the night and takes from the land whatever he needs. The earth is not your brother. The earth is your enemy. When he has conquered it, what he moves on. He leaves his father's grave behind and he does not care. He kidnaps earth from his children. He does not care. His father's grave, his children's birthright, everything is forgotten. He treats his mother, the earth, and his brother, the sky, as things to be bought, plundered, sold like sheep and bright beads. His appetite will devour the earth and leave behind only a desert. Now, what happens is you are not going to understand our ways. Why are you not going to understand our ways? Because you are not like us. You are not like us in the sense that for you, one portion of the land is the same as the next. You are not emotionally attached. You are not in any way attached to the land that you live. We are not like that. We are emotionally, physically, in every way, we are attached to that land, right? For you, you are just a stranger in one particular land. You just live there, you just use it, you just come at night and takes from the land, whatever. You just molest the land. That is it. You just molest it, you just exploit it for whatever use that you want to, and you just move on to another land. That is what you're doing. For us, it is not so. The earth is not a brother for you. The earth is just an enemy, just something to make use of. That's it. And when he has conquered it, when you have conquered one portion of the land, you move on to the other portion. You just are always bent on conquering, buying, plundering things. It's like you're selling and buying. It's like you're not at all emotionally attached or physically attached to that particular land that you belong to. You do not consider, you leave your father's grave behind. Your father's grave would be there. You just leave it behind. You're not concerned about anything because you're not emotionally attached to your father. Likewise, you're not emotionally attached to the land that you belong to. You're not emotionally attached to your children as well because you're not teaching children to respect the land, to rever the land. It's just all the process. You just molest it. Molesting is what happens. So with that, we'll wind up today's session, and in the next session I'll actually read the second part, and probably the video is a bit long, so I'll just read the second portion in the next video. So I hope you will read it and try to understand it. Thank you all.